क्यूरियस एनर्जेटिक टोन। दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा सुपर पावर अमेरिका क्या वाकई ईरान के आगे सरेंडर करने की तैयारी कर रहा है? डोनाल्ड ट्रंप के रीसेंट यू टर्न्स को देखकर तो यही लगता है। For decades, Washington sanctioned Iran with a singular goal: wait for the economy to collapse and the state to break. But after years of maximum pressure, Iran has simply refused to move. Now the stage is being set in Pakistan for a high-stakes secret negotiation that could end this multi-year standoff. Iran is not approaching these talks out of desperation. Far from it. They are entering this room from a position of absolute strength. To understand why Donald Trump is trying to spin this upcoming deal as a win for the US, we have to look at the three specific leverage points Iran is using to squeeze the superpower. First, the Strait of Hormuz. It is a narrow geographic choke point where 20% of the world's daily oil and 90% of the region's gas flows to the global market. Under international law, a country's territory extends 12 nautical miles from its coast. In the tightest parts, those waters belong to Iran and Oman. Per UN Maritime Law Article 14, Iran has a legal basis to charge for services provided within its territory. Rather than risking a full military blockade, Iran opted for a different approach. They effectively turned the strait into a toll booth, charging commercial ships a fee in exchange for maritime security. Trump claims he is permanently opening the strait, but on the water, European nations and major oil companies are already quietly complying with Iran's toll system to avoid conflict. For global markets, paying a $1 per barrel toll is a small price to avoid the $150 oil prices a war would bring. By utilizing maritime law, Iran has secured a level of economic control the U.S. Navy hasn't been able to stop. The second point of leverage is the nuclear program. The U.S. is demanding that Iran hand over its entire stockpile of enriched uranium, more than 450 kilograms, to a third country. Iran has met this demand with absolute refusal. Tehran knows that in these negotiations, agar wo ek baar chuke, to dushman 10 kadam aage aayega. Iranian officials like Abbas Araghchi maintain that enrichment is a matter of national sovereignty. They view the program as a technological achievement they will not trade away to appease the West. Their counteroffer is a specific compromise. They will allow third-party inspections to verify they aren't building a weapon, but the uranium and the technology remain on Iranian soil. By refusing to export their uranium, Iran has turned the nuclear issue into a hard boundary, forcing Washington to negotiate within Iranian limits rather than American ones. Finally, there is the China factor. American sanctions were designed to starve the Iranian economy, but China currently buys roughly 90% of Iran's oil, providing a steady flow of capital that the U.S. cannot touch. Beijing is also providing a diplomatic shield. The Chinese defense minister recently confirmed an agreement with Tehran regarding the Strait of Hormuz, signaling to the U.S. that any military escalation would interfere with Chinese interests. This explains Trump's sudden shift in tone. He is now publicly claiming that China is happy, a pivot that looks less like a deal and more like an attempt to appease President Xi Jinping. This alliance is fracturing the old U.S.-led order in the Middle East. Traditional allies like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are now making their own independent deals with Beijing, moving outside of Washington's orbit. With China providing both an economic lifeline and a diplomatic umbrella, the American strategy of isolation has effectively reached a dead end. Regardless of the spin from the White House, the reality is that the U.S. military is finding it harder to project the same level of leverage it once had in the region. These events suggest a significant shift in the balance of power. As leverage moves from west to east, the era of unquestioned American dictates in the region appears to be receding. The outcome of this new dynamic will be tested during the upcoming two-day summit in Pakistan. तो आपको क्या लगता है? इस पाकिस्तान समिट में अमेरिका अपनी शर्तें मनवा पाएगा या ईरान अपना डोमिनेंस बरकरार रखेगा? कमेंट करके अपना ओपिनियन ज़रूर बताएं। अगर आपको ये ब्रेकडाउन पसंद आया तो वीडियो को लाइक करें और ऐसे ही जियोपॉलिटिकल एनालिसिस के लिए द एक्सप्लेनर को सब्सक्राइब करें।